My name is Adrian, and I'm the operations manager and volunteer coordinator here. And if I can ask Tatiana to raise her hand. So Tatiana over here, who's collecting forms, she is our office administrator, and together we form the EPATT operations team. So to that, I'm speaking about student attendance and communication. So per quarter, students are only allowed to miss 2 times. Why? Because we want, if students miss more than twice a quarter, they're missing valuable time here of tutoring and not with our academic program. We ask that parents please notify us before 2 p.m. The reason for that is we need to let our transportation people know, and also the students' tutors know that they will not be attending. The EPATT app. If you don't have it, we will help you. You can find Teresa after the meeting to help you download the app. And the app is very useful. It's your one-stop shop for checking the EPATT calendars, uploading your student grades, and inputting your parent involvement hours. And our contact information is there for calling us and emailing us, okay? And you can also stay up to date with the EPATT blog of what's happening around the program. The text messages, we're gonna send a text message in soon so we can find out if you are receiving our text messages. If you do not receive it, please raise your hand, okay? And the 3 types of reminders that you will be getting from us are dinner, snack, and about meetings, and those will be titled reminders. The FYI, for your information, those will be about community events and blogs, and about action items, things that we need you guys to either do something, whether that be turning in a report card, submission, transportation survey, and intent to re-enroll, right? So everybody knows the text messages come from a number 313131. That is EPATT. Next, on September 21st, EPATT does the annual Moonlight Run, where we walk and run it during a full moon at the Palo Alto Baylands. EPATT, this is an EPATT sponsored event, so if you're very interested in having fun with us, sign up in this room after the meeting. EPATT will pay for your student or students and you, the parents. The first 30 families to sign up are covered, and it's run by me. More information to come on that. All right, here we go. It's a really fun event. Who here has done it? Right? Yeah. Thumbs up, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Every quarter for elementary school group, middle school, and high school, there are mandatory workshops. These happen on Tuesday or Wednesday, so you can attend one of the 2 days. Why attend? They are very important because it's a place for you to learn about important information about what's happening in schools and about your students and how you can become better advocates for your children, and you can become empowered as well. All right. Regarding EPATT transportation, we only provide transportation for elementary school group and middle school. Sorry, high school, your kids have to find their ways to get here, and they're capable. Tatiana sent an email last week about completing a transportation form. Please complete that, otherwise your student will not receive transportation, okay? Until the winter quarter. And if EPATT provides transportation for your kids, we select the days. Because we have students who attend schools at certain schools on certain days, and it's just easier for us. If those days don't work for you, then you will be responsible for providing transportation to your child to come to EPATT. If the students will be absent, you need to notify me by 2 p.m. or the office by 2 p.m. so we can let the transportation people know. For the meal calendars, those are the number of times that you have to sign up. So ESG is 2 times, MSG and HSG is 3 times, and elementary school food needs to be here by 3 p.m., middle school and high school by 5. Tatiana sent friendly reminders to remind you about about your date. All right, so please reply back to confirm that you received her message, and bring enough food and healthy food for the students. Progress report submission and report cards. we are only accepting them using the EPATT app. And the reason for that is we don't want them through an email anymore. The app is an easy way to take a photo and to make sure that we receive them, and you also get a notification letting us know that you submitted the report card or progress reports. Okay. And about no report card, no EPATT. This year, it's important that you turn them in on time at our deadlines. Unfortunately, this year we lost quite a number of families for their failure of not submitting the report cards on time. And that's very important because we need to collect that information and enter it into our database. But yes, please turn them in on time, otherwise, unfortunately, your students will not be able to continue with us, whether it be the new year or for the next quarter.
Hello, everyone. For those who do not know who I am, I'm Coach Teresa. I have one announcement for tennis, and then I have a few highlights from our tournament team. So our announcement, our parent tennis workshop is on Tuesday, September 25th and Wednesday, September 26th. ESG will be from 6 to 7. MSG and HSG will be from 7 to 8.
Is this for all parents or just tournament team?
For all parents. Tournament team workshop, we will contact you for that.
And do parents need to come? Is this like parent tennis night? Do they need to be dressed, or is this more
Yes.
informational?
So for your expectations, we expect you to come in athletic attire, t-shirt, no jeans, so shorts, workout clothes, and please wear tennis shoes. If you are wearing heels, sandals, boots, you'll be asked to just watch for your safety. So for the tournament team, our tournament team players, these players receive extra practice and also receive opportunities to play on the road at USTA tournaments. And other opportunities they receive is Charlotte and Layla. A few weeks ago, they were invited to the Carmel Valley camp, as you can see in the back. And 4 of our tournament team players from high school, Arlene, Brianna, Sophia, and Cassandra, made their high school teams. All of our JTT players competed in a tournament this year, 6 to be exact. In those 6, Joelle and Giovanni won second place. Samantha won second place also. And Gonzalo won first place for the 3rd time. Gio and Gonzalo also were invited to an elite early development camp. Earlier this month, us coaches took the kids. They were invited by the WTA to the Mubadala Silicon Valley Classic, previously known as the Baconville West. The kids were able to go on court, and also the WTA donated tennis shoes for our kids. And not only did they donate shoes, 3 of our kids were part of the tournament. Gio and Gonzalo were able to walk out the professional athletes at the start of the game, and Samantha here flipped the coin to start the game. So yeah, that is the end of our highlights. I look forward to seeing you guys next month.
Okay, you guys. So, as always, the beginning of the year meeting usually has some sort of message attached to it. Now, I have to admit, our message is pretty much the same from year to year. College and career readiness. Everybody say it. College and career readiness. Yeah, I know you're bored of it. So what we keep trying to do is find different ways to say that very same thing. This year we have an analogy related to construction. Has anybody worked in construction? Oh, hey, LaShawn Lee works in construction. She's the only one.
I'm a carpenter.
Thank you. We got one carpenter. Okay. So I guess a lot of you will be learning today then, since she's the only one who knows what this is about. Fabulous, because I know nothing about this particular trade, but I live with someone who builds houses for a living, and so I'm hoping that her expertise will somehow come through me tonight. We'll find out. So here is the metaphor, the big idea that I want us to connect to today while we talk. And Maribel, you just wave your hand if I'm just going.
You always are.
I know, right? Okay, so here it is. Building and, okay, how many of you have ever bought a house? Raise your hand. Bought a house? Okay, yes, okay. If you've ever purchased a home or tried to, then you should be able to connect a little bit to this analogy. Building and selling a home is kind of like getting your child college and career ready. Okay, so keep that in your mind. Building and selling a home is kind of like getting your kid ready for college and career. And here's what I mean. But first, before I talk about it, let's watch it happen in a quick, they call this like a time-lapse video, I want to say. So you have a step that I'm going to give you 2 minutes to complete if you haven't already. And I want you to draw your dream house. Don't get scared. I can't draw. And, I've drawn for others. And they laughed me to scorn. But that won't be your experience. So take 2 minutes. Draw your dream house. So what you're going to do now is show your dream house to your partner, and then you have 2 questions that I want you guys to talk about for like 2 minutes. One of them is, in what order did you draw your house, your dream house, on the paper? And then the second question is, why are most real houses built in a specific order? Why are they built in a specific order? Do they start with the chimney and work down? Like, what's the deal? All right, so you guys have 2 minutes to talk with the person you just met earlier, and go ahead and get some answers down. I'm going to ask you for your answers, so you do have to actually talk with someone. You have to socialize. Okay, now let's go back to the metaphor. So building and selling a home is kind of like getting your child ready for college and career. I bet you guys are starting to already get where this is going. So since Miss Lee and Astroberta, okay, have already determined for us that you have to have a foundation before you have everything else, now what we're going to do is take a moment to go through this analogy just a little bit and make the connection between house building and getting your kids ready for college and career. So first up, we have Christina.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Christina. I am the elementary school group coordinator. So if you have a child that is in 1st through 5th grade, I will be working with you and your children. Okay, so I am going to go over a solid foundation and what that means when we're talking being college and career ready. What does that mean? Okay, a solid foundation is basically from birth to age 4. And most of it, if you listen to what I'm about to say, you're going to hear a lot about what you have to do, okay? Because the solid foundation is all about what you do, okay? So, the first piece, and some of you have been to my workshops if you've been here at EPATT, where I talk a lot about communicating, okay? So a piece of the foundation is talking to your child. Now that may sound far-fetched, but it's very important to speak to your child from birth, actually from the womb. I've heard of mothers talking to their children in the womb and reading to their children in the womb. So talk to your child. Listen to your child, okay? And what I mean by that is actually carry on a conversation. So as children, they begin to talk. Sometimes you're not clear what they're saying, and so it's good to listen to them and then ask them a question, like a clarifying question. Oh, it sounded like you said this. Is that what you meant? And it just gets them to talk even more and to communicate, okay? So asking them questions, reading to your child is very important because you have to model the habits that you want them to have by the time they get to kindergarten, okay? Have your child read to you. So sometimes what children do is if you have a favorite book, if a child has a favorite book, and you read it to them, then sometimes they'll say, Mommy, I want to read it. And they'll take it from you and they'll try to read it. Let them do that, and let them have that experience, okay? You write notes to your child. So sometimes kids, you know, by the time they get older, they just think, oh, I have to learn how to read because I'm supposed to just read these books. But they don't understand that reading, you're learning about messages. So if you start writing messages to your kid, then they understand, oh, I am reading what someone wrote to me. This is a note to me, and it's for me. So it's really good to write notes to your children while they're young. Have them write to you. Even if it's scribble, scrabble, get them in the habit of holding the pencil, holding the crayon, the marker, and writing, okay? Count objects. So, you know, you're walking along on the sidewalk. How many cars? Count how many Priuses we see. Count the Teslas. Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay, look for patterns. You know, do you see red? How many people are wearing red? How many people are wearing green? But help the kids to look for patterns. This builds mathematical skills, okay? All of this is foundation, all right? Do enriching activities together and then talk about it. If you go somewhere, if you come here to Stanford and do a tour, okay? Talk about what did you learn together. If you're pushing the baby in the stroller, talk to the baby as you're on the tour and look, there's Hoover Tower over there. Did you know this? You know, so share your observations. At home, give your child responsibilities, okay? Because it's hard when they're older to make them do something if you didn't build into them from an early age that they have to have some responsibilities. So things like, and they even learn from those things, like separating laundry, okay? The whites go here, the colors go here, right? Not only are they taking care of a chore, but they're learning whites, colors. You guys get it? And then they can learn dark colors. And then they can learn warm water, cold water. And they start to pick up on things, okay? Provide a creative outlet. So if your kid likes to draw, then provide as much as you can to get them excited about that. If they like to sing, make sure there's time where they're just singing. If they like to dance, but make sure they have some way, some outlet to be creative and that they can really focus on that, and that's okay, you know. If a child is singing and they're off key, just let them have their moment, you know. It's like, oh, that sounds horrible, stop, you know. It doesn't always, when kids learn how to sing, they don't always start off well, but eventually they develop and, you know, they can sing really well. All right, provide an athletic outlet. So if you have a child that likes to run around, and don't keep them cooped in the house, because that's just easy to do. Go to a park, let them run. East Palo Alto has a really nice park, Martin Luther King Park. No one uses it. The grass is very green. It's awesome. Go over there and just go. Like if I had a kid that was learning how to walk, I would take them to an open space and sit down in lawn chairs. Just kidding. But yes, let them walk, because then you have to worry about your house, you know, like, oh no, they're gonna knock this over. Oh no, it's like, go, be free. Less tech and more hands-on. Okay, so we're seeing a lot of something. You guys know what this is, right? Okay, so here's what's happening. You're trying to have a conversation. Your child is interrupting you. What do? Here, right? So you have the kid sitting there, right? Doing the, mommy, the password. Oh, okay. Okay? Now, we just heard a lot of news in the past 2 weeks about how this blue light is killing our eyeballs, and we're giving this to little ones. Okay? Also, little kids, they have a lot of skills they need to develop, and they're not going to develop them on this thing right here. So I do have to let you know, all the tech giants, and by that I mean the Jobs, right? All those guys, Steve Jobs, who are the other people, Bill Gates, all these people, their kids don't have the devices that they've invented. That's the one thing. Zuckerberg, no, they're not giving their kids this stuff. They don't send their kids to schools that use this at all. Like no tech, not even computers. You know what they have? Blocks. And I'm not making it up. They have blocks. They literally give them wooden blocks. And it's like, go learn how to build. You can get a kit with cardboard and rubber bands and string. Go make something. So all the stuff we used to do as kids, that's how kids learn. They learn by, you know, raw materials, not with this. Nobody's learning anything with this right here. Dave, our executive director, told me something really sad. He said he went to a doctor's office and a child was looking through a magazine, probably 1 or 2 years old, and the baby was going like this. Because the baby did not know how to do that. Okay? So, just trying to let you know, tomorrow's Zuckerbergs are not using this. Just FYI. Okay? So, Steve Jobs did not become Steve Jobs because he was doing this. He became Steve Jobs because his dad was a repairman who had him in the garage taking apart televisions and other electronics and putting them back together again. Okay, it was all hands-on. Okay? So there you go. That's the foundation. Now, let's talk about the next piece. Okay? So after you have the foundation, you start putting up the infrastructure, the framing of the house. Okay? So what does that look like? This is the elementary school years. Okay? So this is the time where you set goals. Your daughter, your son wants to be a doctor. Okay, let's go meet some doctors. Let's go to some colleges where there are medical schools, and let's talk more about what that means. What type of doctor do you want to be? Oh, I want to be an oncologist. Okay, let's go learn what that means. Okay? Character building. This is the time where you're helping your child and sculpting them into the type of person that you want them to be. Okay, I didn't put discipline here because there's a difference between discipline and character building. Discipline is just you did it wrong, stop, blah, blah. But you have to explain what was wrong and why and help them to not repeat the behaviors. So you want to build the character. Okay? Now, the next piece. And this has to do with once you set your goals, you have to make sure that the people that you put your children around are on the same page as you, as the family. What are the goals that you have for your child? If you have a goal of your child is going to one day go to college, you don't put your children around people who are just thinking, well, I don't know what they're going to do. Okay? So you want to make sure that the teachers that your children are around, the coaches, everyone, is like-minded, that everyone is on the same page. Okay? Now, this is what I'm emphasizing this year, so I'm not going to go too deep into this because I'm going into this in my workshops. Okay, I'm going to try to say this in a simple way, but the bottom line is you and your children need to know what you need to know. Okay? So, you cannot just send your kids to school from kinder through 5th grade. How long is that, by the way? How many years is kinder through 5th grade? Does anyone know? 6 years. Okay? So we have 4 years of foundation. We got 6 years. That's 10 years, guys. That's a long time. Okay? You can't send them to school for 6 years and they're just going to school. That's what kids do. They just go to school. Right? With no knowledge of why am I here? What do I need to know? Okay? So, you have to know what does your child need to know in reading, in math, in writing, every single year. Kinder, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. What does this child need to know? Okay, you have to know the specifics. Now, the other piece is this. The end of the year is coming. Guess what? You're still responsible for knowing it, no matter what school you're at. East Palo Alto School, a charter school, a private school, a Tinsley school. Your child is still responsible for learning whatever it is they were supposed to learn by the end of kindergarten. Because the time's going to go by, and then you're going to wake up, and they're in middle school, and you're going to send them to Keisha and go, Keisha, I don't know what's wrong with my child. I don't know what's wrong. They got an attitude. Their grades are bad. They don't listen to me. They won't do nothing. And I can't get them off the phone. Okay, that's what's going to happen. So the last piece that I want to emphasize is to stay the course. Okay, this year I'm going to emphasize a lot of work. The kids need to work a lot academically to catch up. So we have to grind. So we are going to work. That's the word. Stay the course and keep working. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Keisha.
Now it's time for the exterior and the trades. Middle school. So we've got 3 years, 6th, 7th, and 8th in middle school. What I'm talking about is independence and self-direction. Some of you have 6th graders that have just come to me that you still hold their hand. You still try to do things for them, and they're still you're feeling like they're still a part of that elementary school vibe, and you've got to learn to cut the cord when they're with me. There's going to be a lot more rough times, a lot higher expectations, and some rough days. They're also going through a lot hormonally, so they may take all this not so great. There may be some crying involved, and some frustration, but it's a part of this process of development. We're going to get them organized. That's a big part of middle school, because that's a lot of times where they're failing. It's like they could do the work if they could find it. You know what I mean? It's like they could study for the test if they had that review sheet. So organization is a big part of what we do. Personal responsibility. If it breaks down and doesn't quite work, we're all going to point the finger at your child. That's you, bruh. That's all you. And they need to begin to take those things. That's middle school. This is the last chance. So if your foundation was weak, so you gave like Christina just talked about foundation. So if you didn't talk to your kid, didn't play with them, didn't motivate them, engage them, or stimulate them, then they went to school. Okay, and then you gave them the phone a whole lot, and they didn't learn anything in kinder or first or second, and they show up to me, okay, and they still can't read. That's not an if, that's an often. So I often get 6th grade students in my group who are reading 2 to 3 to 4 grades below grade level. In 6th grade, that's not an if, that is an often. I often get that. But that's because the foundation wasn't set, the frame wasn't right, and now we've got to gut the house and do some remodel, right? Now we've got to go back in and fix some stuff because it came to me like that. And then your house looks all ugly, and there's construction workers with no shirts on, and it's just craziness. Okay, and everybody's like, what is going on with this house? It was beautiful, and now half of it's been torn down, right? And we're busting through the walls, and we're doing all kinds of stuff because your kid can't read. And I have many students who come to me and cannot read at grade level. That's not an uncommon situation. And this is the last chance, because when Maribel comes up here, she's going to tell you there's no reading classes in high school. Lastly, just say no. Be honest, how many of your kids played a lot of Fortnite this summer? Fortnite! Yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah, okay. That's fine. But now that school started, it's Fort No. There was Fortnite, and now it needs to be Fort Oh No. We're done with Fortnite. Maybe on the weekends. Maybe. But Monday through Friday is Fort No. Mom, can we know? We don't have time. Okay, and I'm going to talk about, because it's one thing to say no, but we do have to have an alternative. You can't just say no all the time, because then they're just going to, they're going to sneak it. They're going to, Mom, can I go over to so-and-so's house? And they're going to be playing Fortnite. See what I'm saying? So it can't just be Fort No, but it's Fort Now this. Fort this instead. And what is that? Okay? Anyway. All right. That's a taste of middle school. I'll be having workshops this quarter where we talk about what are the alternatives to Fortnite. Among other things. What to do if your kid is behind. How do we catch them up with the little bit of time we have left before Maribel gets her hands on them? And I'm going to turn it over.
So I have a lot to say, but I want to keep it short. Like Keisha mentioned, I will be having a lot of workshops on this stuff. So, but bottom line, Keisha mentioned it. When they get to high school, we're not learning how to read anymore. We're not learning how to do basic math. We're not learning how to write. It's, can you keep up? And if you can't keep up, guess what? You're not ready for college and you're not ready for a career. So, high school is pretty much like putting all the final pieces in the house. It's making that house pretty. It's adding I always wanted a tree in my front yard. I wanted wide picket fence. This is what high school is. You're just adding those final details to a student. If they don't have that basic foundation, if they don't have everything that Keisha was talking about, they're not going to make it, bottom line. You can have all the beautiful stuff in the house, but if you don't have any of the other stuff, you're not going to make it. And if you've been part of my high school group, you've been hearing this stuff all along. We have the 3 R's, right? Responsibility, resilience, and resourcefulness. And you see that here. All of this, do you guys see you as a parent up here at all? No. All of this is on your child. So what can you be doing at home to help your child develop these skills? Are you giving your kids things to do at home? Are they doing things out of the home? Are they helping you out? bottom line, the only way that they're going to learn any of these skills is if you give them that responsibility, give them that opportunity to do things on their own. So, like I said, we'll be having more workshops on this stuff later on, but please keep in mind, especially the last one, I've been seeing it a lot with the high school students, is that they just do the bare minimum and think that's enough. That's not going to get them to the next level. Bottom line, it's not. Doing the bare minimum, anyone, it doesn't get you anywhere. You always have to keep pushing yourself, and you have to have that self-motivation to keep pushing. So I'm going to pass it over to Keisha.
The question is, what makes a house desirable? What makes it ready for sale? Okay, so we're going to do a little exercise. Anybody see The Price is Right? Anybody been on The Price is Right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, me and my grandparents did The Price is Right about 2 years ago. Wonderful experience. Grueling, but wonderful. Which house would you want to buy? Okay? Now, these guys are going to help you, and I'm going to go through the houses. You don't have to stand the whole time if you don't want to. You're more than happy to sit while I run through them. Then you're going to take these numbers, and you're going to put them on your priorities. Which house you'd want first, which house you'd want second, third, and fourth. And these guys are going to help you put the numbers where you think they go. So let me explain this. So I am your real estate agent. My name is Keisha. I've been working in the industry for about 21 years, and I'm very experienced in real estate. Together with your team, you are going to rate these homes from 1 to 4, from most desirable to least desirable. Okay, are we ready? House number 1. House number 1 is a lovely home. It has 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and a 2-car garage, okay? Modern interior, hardwood floors, granite counters. It does, however, need a new roof, okay? And it's going to need some landscaping. As you can see, we haven't done a whole lot. The previous owners didn't do a lot with the front yard, so we're working on that. So that's house number 1, okay? House number 1, everybody got that? Yes. House number 2, also 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, detached garage, modern. All the modern amenities on the inside. However, we did have a minor earthquake last year in this community, and this house is currently sinking. It does need some work on the foundation, and it does have a termite infestation that is affecting the primary framework. But it's a beautiful home. The family has loved it. They've been in it for years, but they're moving to Wyoming. Okay. Let's move along. House number 3. House number 3, we're getting a big commission, so buy the more expensive house, please. House number 3 is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-car garage. Again, everything on the inside is spotless, and it has a new roof. This house does need new plumbing. It has rusty pipes with lead in them. And it's going to need some rewiring, and it has a bit of faulty electrical, so it could catch on fire. But it's a beautiful home. Look at the landscaping. Look at the landscape. Just focus on the new paint job on the outside. Okay, that's house number 3. House number 4, last but not least. It is a bit rustic, and it's in a community that's a bit far away. It's developing. It's the first house in this lot. This is a new build. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, attached garage, modern everything. It has a new roof. It does need a little in terms of landscaping right now. We just have dirt and dry grass. But all in all, this is the home that we are offering. So take a moment, think it through. We have 4 houses. House number 1, house number 2, house number 3, and 4. All right, turn to your audience, and they're going to tell you where you need to put. We use this analogy to say something very simple. We love your kids, and you do too. They're nice, they're polite, they're helpful, they're good members of our community. But if we look a little deeper at their skills, whether it's things that should have been foundational, things that should have happened in elementary, things that should have happened in middle, things that are happening in high school, they could be that deadly lead-filled fire trap if we don't do some major remodels and some retrofitting. Because that's what's going on. So when you look at your kid, think about them like a house you'd want to sell. Because at the end of the day, colleges are coming for your children, and they're going to do this very same exercise. They're going to look at the foundation. What do your kids know? Okay, what have they accomplished? What have they achieved? And even if they introduce themselves with all this charisma, when they look at the fine print and your kids don't know anything, they will not sell at the market rate, but far below. You want a house that has multiple bidders asking double over the asking price. You want a child who colleges compete for. not who have to take whatever's left. And the only way that that can happen is from the ground up. If your kids have things that are missing today, let's start from the ground up and get them there. Thank you guys for getting it. All right, so before we leave, you have a little bit of homework. If on your sheet, the last thing was, I want you to take a moment to think. I don't want us to leave here and it just be, okay, that was funny. You have two things I want you to think about and write down. One of them is, which part of your house, in our analogy, or your child, is most ready for sale or college? Which part is least ready? Is it the plumbing? They really need to work on the plumbing. Is it the foundation? Is it the roof or the windows? Or is it their basic skills? Is it their independence, right? Is it their responsibility, their resilience? And if you don't know what those things mean, that's okay. There'll be workshops about all of it. And then question number 5 is, which part, Rome and a house wasn't built in a day. Mr. Luna, how long has it taken you to almost finish your log cabin project?
4 years.
4 years. So our children aren't going to be built overnight, but we have to take small bite-sized portions to make change. So I want you to take a moment, because you're going to give these pieces of paper back to us. We're going to use them as our own feedback points. Where do you want to start with your kid this year? What do you want to work on? Because I'm going to take all the middle school sheets and think about that in terms of the next workshop that I have with you, because I want to focus on what you want to focus on so that we're all on the same page. So take a moment and say, okay, I really need to work on my kids. Well, let me go back to the middle school list. I forgot what I even said, and I said it. Sad, huh? Yeah, my kid's not independent. They're not organized. I'm still holding their hand. I need to stop. They lack foundational skills, and I need to figure that out. They're playing way too much Fortnite. It's still Fort Yay and not Fort No. Okay? So those are examples. If your kids in high school, are they driven yet, or are they still lazy and unmotivated? Are they resilient, or every time something breaks, they just have a meltdown, right? Do they advocate? Are they resourceful? Are they independent? Are they motivated? So the same for elementary. Do my kids set goals? Do they even know why they're in school? Do they work hard, or do they just do whatever is the path of least resistance? So what do you want to work on? Okay, so those are the things that I want you to put on that piece of paper. And this is something that I almost always forget to say, so I gotta say it. EPATT does not start tomorrow. EPATT does not start this week. EPATT starts on September 10th, okay? Which is kind of a ways out. We need a time to get ourselves together, and Sanford hasn't even started yet, so excuse our late start. But we'll be really, 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 really ready by the time September 10th comes around.